Hi everybody, it's Michele Burghardt, your millionaire mindset mentor. How are you today? It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Today I wanted to talk about something that I find really kind of near and dear to my heart, and that is how do you get over the fear of failure? Because sometimes it's paralyzing. So I've got 4 steps that I think if you follow them, you're going to be able to really accomplish so much more and grow your business and grow personally just by doing these 4 steps. Okay, so step 1 is kind of reframe your goals. Rather than say, oh, I want to sell X amount of dollars this month, or I want to close X amount of dollars in business. If you try reframing what your goal is, maybe to something like, I'm going to learn how to X, how to sell X amount of dollars, or something like that. Try reframing what your goal is so that if you're trying to learn something, then you're really not going to be able to fail at that. I like that idea. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is I want you to visualize the obstacles that you're going to face. Now, when you visualize them, I want you to visualize the obstacles, but I also want you to visualize how do you get over those obstacles. And I know in another video I talked about scripting, and I think that this would be a really good time for you just to script. And by scripting, I mean by writing it down. So write down how you're going to get over those obstacles. And you know, fear of failure is not just something that happens in a business setting. It affects all areas of your life. It affects your relationships. It affects your money, your income. It affects family. It affects everything. So, you know, try like looking at a week at a time and say, okay, what's coming up this week? What are the obstacles I'm facing? And then I want you to really visualize yourself handling those obstacles. I think that's really a really powerful tool to use, especially if you do the scripting and write it. You know, I always say write it because it's the mind-hand connection. So write down how you're going to do that. So that's the second tool. The third tool is uncover the real reason. You know, when you're afraid of failing, it's almost always about something else. It's not about missing a deadline, or it's not about missing a goal. It always kind of goes back to something else. It could be, oh yeah, my dad always said I would never make it, or I always do X and I can never do Y. There's always a why. There's always some reason. Your fear of failure is part of a bigger story. So if you can find out and think about it, why is that? Why are you feeling that way? Then you can ask yourself, what do I have to believe about myself in order for me to really accept this? And it's like, well, I don't want to believe that I'm an idiot. I don't want to believe I'm stupid. I don't want to believe I'm a failure. So why am I believing that? You know, because knowing that, you know, that was all in the past. Okay, your story, your why of why you're afraid of failure, that comes from the past, and you don't have to create your future as a reflection of your past. You've got control over that. You know, so when you can uncover what your story is and what your why is, well, then you can ask yourself some questions about it, like, what did I learn? What 3 positive takeaways did I take from that? What is it that I'm never going to repeat? You know, you can use the past as a learning tool and then make the changes going forward. And then the 4th thing is, I think you just have to really say that, yeah, I am afraid. You have to own it. And then you have to say, you know what, I'm afraid, but I can do this. And you have to be okay with doing it maybe not 100% the first time. But if you do it 50% the first time and 60% right the second time and 70% and 80% and 90%, 100%, you know, it's going to get better every time. But sometimes, you know, if you just try to say, well, I'm afraid to do it, so I'm not going to do it. It could be a relationship. I'm afraid to date. You know, so you don't date, so you stay lonely your whole life. You know, well, that's not good. Well, dip your toe in the pond. Who knows what's going to happen? You know, I'm afraid to call, you know, a bigwig at a company to try to sell. Well, you're never going to increase your revenue unless you start upping up who you're selling to. So dip your foot in the pond, learn from it, move forward, and see if you can't conquer those fear scenarios one at a time. One at a time. I think these are really great tools. I really do. And I can see them even working for my clients. I see them even working for myself, because you know what? We're all works in progress. So I highly recommend those. So if in fact, now this is everything that I told you is what you can do on the conscious level, okay? Now, for people that are working with me, we go through these kinds of tools, but then we also incorporate hypnotherapy so that we actually do some things on the subconscious level as well. So if you really do feel like you are coming up into some situations that are really you're afraid to do, and you're just really stuck in it, and so it's like a big block and it's really hurting your business, well then, and you want things to flow easier, then you need to call me, and then we need to do a strategy call and see if my program's not a good thing for you. Because I help people get over these blocks all the time so that they can start making the money that they want to make and do the things that they want to do. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'm going to post a link for the strategy call below in the comments. It's 45 minutes. It's free. It'll be a great time for you just to really talk about your business, where you are, where you're going, what's blocking you, and then how we can really design a plan for success for you. So that's really all I had to say today. Don't be afraid to try new things. It's the only way you're going to grow. I love you guys. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.